First, we will start by accessing the system's software. On the desktop, you will see an icon for Lab Solutions. Double-click the icon to open the software. You may be prompted to enter a password depending on your system's security settings. Once you have the software open, navigate to the Instruments tab. Double-click on the PPSQ instrument icon to open the PPSQ analysis software. Two windows should open, the PPSQ analysis window and the LC analysis window. The LC analysis window will show you the progression of each cycle's chromatogram in real time when you are running the system. This is a view-only window. All settings and changes necessary can be made in the PPSQ analysis window. The left side of the PPSQ analysis window allows you to track the time program progression of your samples or calibrants. The right side of the window has up to 3 reactor menus depending on the type of unit you are using. You have the option to select a schedule to run based on the sample or calibrant you have loaded. You also have the option to run loop and PPSQ washes. Before beginning any run, it is important to make sure that all of the LC system components are warmed up and ready to go. To do this, access the Maintenance tab in the PPSQ analysis window, then select LC Control. If the instrument is in sleep mode, you will see that the instrument parameters are set to detector and oven off, and the flow rate at 100% mobile phase B at a rate of 0.01 mils per minute for a gradient system, and PTH-AA mobile phase at 0.3 mils per minute for an isocratic system. To change these parameters, select the button with 3 dots and a data file in the drop-down menu. Since the LC parameters for each run are the same, any file can be used. Once selected, the LC control window should auto-populate with the new active LC parameters. The flow rate should change to 100% mobile phase A at a rate of 0.3 mils per minute for a gradient system and 1.0 mil per minute for an isocratic system, and the detector and oven status should switch to on. This will be 35 degrees for a gradient system and 40 degrees for an isocratic system. Select Download, then activate to transfer the command to the LC system. Once the LC is turned on, allow it to warm up for at least an hour prior to running your standard or samples. While the system is warming, you can either prepare your PTH-AA standard in the method shown or thaw out your pre-prepared standard stock solution and dilute it to form your working solution. Once the system has warmed up, you can load 90 microliters of your PTH-AA working solution into a 1.5 milliliter Eppendorf tube. Place the solution into the holder next to the converter and connect the tubing. Once the system has been warmed up, navigate to the Lab Solutions PPSQ software. You will see a variety of options in the menus for each reactor. Under any reactor menu, select PTH-AA. Once you have selected PTH-AA, the following fields will appear. Sample name. Enter the type of sample, in this case PTH-AA, and the date. Sample ID. This is an optional field. It can be used in cases where there is a specific sample identifier to be documented. Number of cycles. In the case of PTH-AA, this value will be 1 since the PTH-amino acids are free in solution and will all elute in a single cycle. Amount of sample in picomoles. In gradient systems, this will be 10 picomoles for PTH-AA, and in isocratic systems, this is 25 picomoles. The save folder location. The data file name. For ease, we will set this to the same as the sample name. The start number. Set this value to 1 so that the data from the first, and only in this case, chromatogram is saved. Method file. Any previously collected .lcm file. In the case of PTH-AA, this is just signifying the LC schedule and method that will be used. Data comments. These are optional. Register the PTH-AA. You will see the estimated finish time in the time schedule on the left side of the PPSQ software. Press Start to begin data acquisition. You should see the top of the schedule change to blue and read Analyzing. Once the PTH-AA run is finished, we can access the created .psq data file through the PPSQ post-run software. In the main Lab Solutions window, select Post-Run and then PPSQ Post-Run. Once the window opens, click on the folder icon and select the most recent PTH-AA.PSQ data file. Navigate to the Chromatogram tab once the file is open. You should see a chromatogram reflecting 20 PTH-Amino Acid peaks, along with a couple of byproduct peaks for DPU and DPTU. At the bottom of the window, you will see a table. Navigate from the Peak Report tab to the ID Table tab. Adjust the retention times for each peak by clicking on the time in minutes on the table, and then moving the blue line that appears on the chromatogram to line up with the corresponding peak apex. You may want to zoom in and out on the chromatogram manually to make sure that the line is correctly positioned. Repeat this process for all items in the table. Once completed, select Apply, the button on the bottom right of the screen. This saves the retention times to the data file. On the top of the PPSQ post-run window, there is an icon labeled Cal. Click this and approve the calibration. Once the software is finished processing, you will have created a new calibration reference file to use for your sample data collection. We have now gone through the process of starting up the system and PPSQ software, loading your PTH-AA standard, registering and acquiring your data, and calibrating. For more information about Shimadzu PPSQ instruments and related projects, visit us at the link shown. Thank you very much.
Excellence in science. Shimadzu.